Welcome, guys. Welcome. We're back with Worldly Wednesday, our sort of weekly Distant Worlds 2 stream. We're playing with the... well, at the moment, we actually are playing with... well, the Gizarians is who we are. Sorry, I've only just woken up. So I'm a little bit groggy. We've got a enemy which we no longer have a war with, but we will be wanting to go back to war with them, which is the Quamino. Now, these are getting more and more powerful. And I did actually, like last week when we played, in the meantime, I did a session over on the Slytherin channel for 2 hours where the Quaminos actually declared war against us, and at the end of that session, they then sued for peace. Now, the Quamino ships are really, really powerful. Even if we have a quick look at this particular fleet, the 5th Defence Force, you can see down through there, even when it's hover over that one, it's got the 5th Defence Force with a combat power of 3,713. So extremely powerful ships, and that's only a small fleet with only 6 ships in it. So a 6-ship fleet with 3,700. If we go to one of our big fleets, like the 1st Defence Force, here we've got like 21 ships, and we've only got a combat power of 2,200. So you can see there at a factor of about 3.5 to 1, essentially, like 3.5. We've got 3.5 1 and 3.5 times the number of ships than what they've got, but yet we're still, a bit over half the actual combat power, which is really a big problem. Having said that, we did pretty well in the actual war, so we have to use strategy to sort of overcome this. But we are going to have to really look closely at our ships. We may have to do sort of like a redesign of our ships, I think. We're also trying to get the destroyers at this point in time. I don't have enough to be able to crash the research, which means that it's going to halve the research time. At the moment, we're 5 and a bit years away. I'm really now needing these ships in my fleets, so that's going to be, we're going to be a little bit behind there. Our research, if you've been watching the series, you'll know that our research playing as the Gizarians is really, really bad. So we excel at swarm tactics, and we do need to keep on expanding through the galaxy. So I'm thinking the Quaminos will essentially be where we have to go again. Now, this is actually one of their big fleets. This is the 3rd fleet. 10,000. They've got 20 ships. So they've got, for their 20 ships against our 21 ships, they're 4 times as strong. So you can sort of imagine that for every one of their ships is 4 times, it was worth 4 of mine, on average, which is really, really difficult. So that's actually one of their big fleets, which is coming back through. I did change the colour, by the way. If you've been watching the series, I've changed this colour from the bluey colour of the Quaminos into this sort of like this purpley colour, just to get differentiation between the Actarians and the Quamino. But the Quamino are going to be our enemy in this particular series until we can really sort of suppress them. They're expanding quite rapidly. They've actually suppressed the Wekarus, which are back in through here. There's another Aquatic. They're all the 3 Aquatic factions, actually. We've got the Actarians back in through here. We have the Quamino, which are going to be they're expanding quite rapidly. And then we actually have the Wekarus back in through there. So they're the 3 Aquatics, all sort of together. And in fact, there's even over through here, I think we have, who do we have? This is the Harkonish, which is sort of amphibian, I guess, to a sort of a degree. They're more sort of like mangrovey swamp type dwellers rather than deep ocean worlds. But certainly the Quaminos should have deep ocean. Their home planet should be a deep ocean world, I would assume. Maybe not. No, that's a mangrove forest moon. There we go. So that's actually the main one that they're actually on. These are more frog-like, I guess. So yeah, that makes sense. So they're more amphibious than aquatic. Anyway, well, I think I've called this on YouTube like an aquatic one. Hi, Undersquirrel, how are you going? Hi to anybody else that's joined us as well. So we're now waiting on our destroyers, which is going to be a bit of a wait. We are trying to build up our fleets, and you can see there my cash flow has now gone into severely into the negative, and I need to build up my essentially the locations that we end up having. So there are things, for example, like this Harkonish world over here, which I could take. There's a few things like that I really should be sort of looking to get involved in. But I think what we might do is we might do an analysis of the, because we can actually see that the ships in this third fleet, we can actually have a look to see what they've actually got. They've got a lot of destroyers. If I have a look at an individual destroyer of theirs, like if I just go and click on it, should be able to go and pick on one of these. There we go. An unknown ship. No, we're not seeing it. Let me have a quick look and see if I can see individual ships here. These are just these are destroyers. So their strength, their overall strength is 727 with what they end up having. Let's design ships to take out this ship. So we'll sort of go in and do a bit of tweaking with our actual designs. And so this particular ship has got Epsilon torpedoes. Epsilon torpedoes are great against shields, but not good against. They're bad against shields, but good against armor. So they can bypass armor, but they're not great against shields. Now, having said that, shields fail every so often. And if we have a look at their shields, they've got bubble shields, which are really, really good. They've got a shield penetration chance there of 2%, which means that one shot in every 50 will actually just go straight through the shields. So for them, if I actually attack them, I can sort of, on average, for every 50 actual shots that go in, one of them will get through and go onto the armor. And so for them, with their torpedoes, they actually have like a negative shield bypass. So it does less damage against the shields, but it can still bleed through the actual shield, the shielding itself. And so for my shields, I think mine are like a 1 in 5 chance, not a 1 in 50 chance. So my shields are terrible in comparison. And this is actually one of the big powers that the Quamino get. They've got some really powerful, like they're a great faction to play. If you're sort of newish to the game, they're incredibly good to play as. So for them, they're using Epsilon torpedoes, which means that our shielding is really the only thing that's going to sort of save us. And then with the armor bypass, 40% of the damage that's sort of done to the whatever the armor is then going to bleed through onto the hull, which will then impact componentry. So we'll end up sort of losing components with them using the Epsilon torpedoes. So with them having 3 medium Epsilon torpedoes here, and with our shitty shields, we like every 1 in 5. For every how many of these have got 2 shots per volley, so they're actually firing. If all 3 of these fire at once, they're firing 6 shots, which means that on average, for every shot that they shoot in every 7.5 seconds, actually, is that what it is? No, the firing rate is every 12 seconds. Every 12 seconds, they fire 6 shots, of which one of them, on average, should get through onto my hull, of which 40% of that damage should then go through into my components, which means that we're going to have a lot of damage on our ships very, very quickly. So this is actually a major, major problem for me. We also have the shields themselves. Getting through these are very, very strong shields. They've got 2 of these, plus they've got heavy armor. And so they've got a shield strength there of 440 and a shield resistance there of 5. This means that they sort of, like a lot of the damage that hits the shields gets taken straight off with that 5 shield resistance. These are very, very powerful shields. And then the shield penetration chance is only 2%, meaning a 1 per 50 shots. So we need something to break the shields as quickly as we possibly can. So when we have a look at weaponry, if we go so that's really what we're up against. We've got to somehow protect ourselves against torpedoes, and we somehow have to get through these bubble shields, which are very, very difficult to actually hit. So I'll just read a few comments before we do this one. So Boland's saying, I'm finding the Gizareans in my Ikaru game. I came at them with no point defence, mostly heavy railgun. They already have destroyers. I got melted. Yeah. Well, it's sort of funny. The Gizareans don't really have good tech usually, and we don't. So we're behind. We're way behind in technology. The fact that they would have had destroyers early is interesting. I'm not sure how they would have got those. Hi, Resmelin, how are you going? Boland's saying, redesigning my frigate says point defence plus blasters. It sort of all depends on what weaponry they send against you. And that's the other thing too. We can use point defence to break down those torpedoes. They're slow moving, so we do get a few shots at the torpedoes. So that's going to be important. And Boland's then sort of saying morning, Daz, and happy time zone chat. And saying, wow, an AI ship that actually matched weapon types, so rare. It's becoming more prevalent in the game. Like the game is actually keeps on improving all the time. So I'm used to terrible one missile, one torpedo, one point defense, one blaster on similar ships. I'm finding more and more that they're actually quite strong with the way that they've sort of been set up. Hi Darth Gnome, how you going? So anyway, what we need to do is we need to go into our ship designs, and the strongest ship we have is the frigate. So that's often, that's a really good tip. If you're newish to the game, look at the frigates. Just play it sort of like tech level 1. And that way you'll end up having the frigates, and you can sort of do a big evaluation through each of the actual factions. I did a video on it actually, where I just looked at the frigates for every single faction and used that as a comparison for what the strengths and weaknesses are of each faction. And it really is a good way of checking things out, because each frigate design is quite different. Now destroyers are going to be different again, and so for us with our ships. Yeah, I've got a whole range of things here that I could actually go and do. I'll just go in and actually I'll sort by role, which I find the easiest way to sort of check things. We've got manual designs for our frigates themselves. Let's just go and edit this. So I can't actually save the edit, but I can at least have a bit of a look at it. So this is my frigate design into here, and so the frigate design that I actually have is. So I'll just set these up so that the filtering is by is latest per category and family. So it's only going to show the latest per category and the latest in the actual family within the category. And I'm going to have the sort to be the bay type, category, family, and then size. So anything in the same. And to put that into perspective as well, the category is actually these three-letter designation. So if we go back down, and probably really where it does come through is in the things like, in this case, these are the 2 vector engines that are in through here. They're going to be the same. That's the category that they're from, but they may be from different families. If we have a quick look, they're both vectoring engines. There's no family as such there. So these are just 2 different. Equivalent vector engines. One's a small at 4 and one's a 6 with the multi-vector, which is slightly better in terms of what it does actually go and do. As we start to look through weaponry, you'll see of them very, very much. Like this is like these are the weapons. WCL is weapon close in. So close in weapons back and through there. So that's all of your things, for example, that need to be aimed at something. So, for example, your beam weapons and your railguns need to be aimed at something. Then you've got your intercept weapons, so the point defense. So these will all be PD weapons. So we've got a number of different ones in through there. Got the ion ones. This is the ion cannon back through there. We've got the concussion missiles down this way as well. So this will be standoff. So ST is standoff, which includes Epsilon torpedoes. So the torpedoes are also included in standoff. These are targeting. They will actually track a target. So it doesn't matter which way you fire these. They will actually end up chasing the target down. These are usually pretty big. If you look at the medium size through here, they're size 30, as opposed to, for example, size 38 for the concussion missile. These are the missiles are the longest range. So these are like long range weapons, and these take up 38 tons of mount for the medium. If we go back up, the railgun is only 26. That's usually our smallest. And then the beam weapons tend to be sort of like middle of the road, like at 28. So you can see there, smallest is railgun. Next is the beam weapons. Next is the torpedoes, and then missiles are by far the biggest. So you've got sort of like, that's sort of the way these things always sort of then work out. They all have different abilities. So if we go to the railguns, for example, and compare them to the torpedoes. So if I just hover back over this particular one, we've got a Mark II in the Epsilon, so that's going to be a slightly better anyway. But this one here, we've got the you see the difference there, the size 26 versus size 30. So if I'm close to my size limits, I've got to be careful what I do put on the ships themselves. And so with the so I'll just hover over the Epsilon torpedoes there again. With the railgun, we see that the railgun only does 11 damage, but it's got 2 shots per volley. But what it does do is, you can see it about halfway down, it's got like range 880, and then the range for the Epsilon torpedo is 2000. So more than like 2.5 times the range with the Epsilon torpedo. But further down than that, you'll sort of see that these fire every 2 and a bit seconds, whereas the torpedoes fire every 12 seconds. So the torpedoes are slow at firing, but when they hit, if they hit with full power, they hit it with 44 damage with the torpedoes, whereas the railguns only hit at 11, and at damage at maximum range, it does diminish slightly, so it still hits at 10 even at maximum range, whereas the torpedoes, if they are fired at maximum range and then hit, it's diminished, the energy has gone a lot out from them. But the thing we're looking at through here is what's it going to do? These are the opposite of each other to a degree. The railguns have got like a shield bypass there of plus 40%. Now that means that 40% of the damage is going to bleed through onto the armor. And so of the 11 that we sort of see through there, it's going to have like essentially 40% of the damage will go through the shield and straight onto the actual armor itself, which is a way for us to go forward, but that 11 then becomes like, it's only 40% of the 11. So we're looking at, so it's got the plus 40%, which means that 40% of 11 is basically 4. So 4 damage actually hitting hitting the armor itself, and then that 4 damage has to do enough damage to sort of bleed through, which is actually, even though it sort of shows with the railguns, we end up with a damage ratio there of 7.2, but it doesn't take into account the actual defenses of the enemy ship, or of the ship that it's firing against. If I go and cancel that, I used to love railguns in the game, but I don't tend to put them on anymore. If we have a look at the ship again and have a quick look and see again what their destroyer has got. So the bubble shields, if we do use that, we can sort of think, okay, look, for every one of those that go through, 4 damage is going to go through from there onto the heavy armor, and then we have a reactive rating there of 3. That means our 4 damage is now 1 damage, which is nothing. So it's sort of essentially we've got like hardly any damage going through onto the heavy armor, but the railguns are the only way we're going to get through those particular shields. So we're a bit screwed with that. So what we need to do is we need to find a railgun weapon that will actually allow us to do big damage. And so if we have a look at our technology, we actually do have accelerated projectiles, which is the next one that we're sort of trying to get, which is a heavy railgun. And so what this one does is, like by default, there's 1 shot per volley, but it does 52 damage. So if you imagine that the 52 damage, and even at maximum range, it still does 44. Let's just say it does 50 damage, because I like to have my ships in pretty close. So if we end up using this particular one, this is size 40. This is a big weapon. That's another problem actually, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So with the size 40, with the 50, let's just say 50 damage, and we then have 40% of that going through, we're going to end up with essentially 20 damage is going to bleed through onto the heavy armor. And then from that 20 that goes through, 3 of that is going to then be taken away from the reactiveness of the armor itself, which still means that 17 damage gets through into the actual hull of the ship, which then starts to destroy components. So these are the key for us. The trouble is the size 40. So the size 40 is a big problem. If we just go and exit the research again and have a look at our ship designs yet again, and have a look at the frigate, and go back into edit and have a quick look at this thing. So when we have a look at this is the limitations we have. We can have up to 39 tons of maximum that we can actually have for the iron, like for 3 of the mounts. We don't actually have any mounts on our frigates that are over size 39, which means we cannot put one of those new like heavy railguns on one of our frigates, and we certainly can't do it on one of the on any of the escorts, which are smaller again. So we have smaller design ships, so we have to have destroyers to be able to then mount these guns. So the destroyers are the key, and so that's why we're trying to get the destroyers done, then we're trying to get the accelerated projectiles done. So that's actually critical for us. I hope that makes sense. So at this point in time, I'm a bit screwed in terms of I just need to sit around and wait for this to come good in 5 years, which hopefully we'll be able to get hold of some money and with that money, we'll then be able to sort of accelerate that down to at least half that, hopefully. So that's sort of what we're going to be aiming for. Now, other things that are going on in through here at this point in time. So what I'm doing is I'm moving up big fleets. I've now made three big fleets that are now operating. Like two of them are proper sort of defensive fleets, and one of them's an invasion fleet, which has just taken over a world that we had lost. So we don't get the benefit of reinvading because we've already done that once before. Actually, I do actually have. Now that's transferring back to red conflict. That's okay. So it's moving back to the invasion fleet. And if we have a look at the invasion fleet, this is my 4th fleet, which does actually have 5 infantry, 15 armor. So this is actually a very, very powerful invasion force. And what I want that one for ultimately will be to take some of these worlds. Like I'm thinking this world here is probably going to be my target for when we go to war with them next. But we're going to need to have like big fleets in here to be able to protect what we're doing. And unfortunately, everything's now starting to cost us money. So we'll just have to sort of try to get on top of the money as well. But that's sort of where we are with the game. So the other thing we do is we do actually have spies, which if we have a quick look and see what they're up to. The spies are... Yep, so we've got a spy, Shindu Livax, is trying to get long-range sensors. This is critical for us. We have to get this. So this guy here has got pretty good concealment, pretty good espionage. So he's got a 60% chance of success, but it's really important that we get it. And the Molitus aspiration that he's actually going against are the Quiminos. So he's actually trying to get long-range scanners. So that they've got long-range scanners. We've got some long-range scanners that we happen to just pick up, which then become they become targets for the for their enemy fleets. They did try to take out this long-range scanner. We do have a couple of largish fleets then through here now as protection fleets. So all my defence fleets have essentially gone, but again like 1,800 as opposed to 10,000 in terms of firepower is really not good. So our ships ship for ship are really shit. So we need to and we're some miles behind in technology. So anyway, let's just keep on going. So hopefully our spy will then make it through and actually when does he come good? He gets that one in 2799.04. So we're still 5 months away. So just let the game play on. I don't really want to go and take other worlds with this just yet because it also then opens us up for invasion ourselves, and for the enemy to then start to sort of do things against us through space. We could take this pirate fleet out, this pirate group. They've been coming in. I might even do that. So we have a long-range scanner here. We are sort of seeing unknown ships operating in and around these regions. I don't know what they're doing there. I'm not sure what that's all about. We have another pirate faction over here, which would be good to take out as well. But I've had to strip all of the defences out from in here really to supplement what's going on in this region. Yep, so Boland's saying, I love Ikaru escorts, 2 large 120 size mounts. Yeah, it's sort of like that's where each faction has got like a different way of playing, which is actually pretty cool. But I do want to get the destroyers first and then get the accelerated projectiles with the heavy railgun after that to be able to take on the Quimino. I'm not really going to be able to challenge them until I get specific weaponry to take on their benefits, and we don't have that at this stage. We're just using lots and lots of beams to to actually try to sort of do anything. There's a strike force moving into there. The 7th Strike Force is moving up to this location. They're offering to sell us some. I'm sure that the Quimino declared war last time. They'll declare war again. I don't think they've got any sort of war weariness. I'm sort of happy enough to just bounce along. Where are they? That's them there. Yeah, we recently ended a war 0.6 years ago. So they're not going to declare war in the short term, but they will declare war at some point. Now, they were the ones who offered a white peace, and I did accept that because we had actually been able to challenge them to a degree. Now, there's another fleet of ships moving out from here, which we don't know anything about this. Yes, we do. We can see that they're pirate ships. Heaps of them. Heaps of them. Wow. Okay. We don't know exactly what they are, but these are all pirate ships. They're moving back. Now they're inside. A lot of those are inside a nebula at the moment. So they're going back to here. Now I don't know what they were doing in there, but they're moving back to this location. And I would like to take it out because they're friendly with the Cormino. But I think I'll just leave it for now and just wait to see what if these actually come into our locations, we should be okay with destroying them. So Boland's saying, I found a strange bug when you check weapon tooltip in the design screen. Maximum range and point blank accuracy are well accurate. When you have one selected and compare another, the accuracy is the same for both close and max range. Is it? I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, it really confused me because railguns are very inaccurate at maximum range. Yes. Hang on. Let's have a look and see. So if I go back into my frigate again and edit and have a look at the... so you're saying that if I go to... When you check a weapon tooltip... yeah, so if I choose, for example, the torpedo, which has got an accuracy of... Yeah, maximum range accuracy of 70%, you're saying that the railgun also keeps the same accuracy. No, mine's different. Actually, it did change the torpedo. The torpedo, it says there, yeah, 70% there, point blank accuracy 80%, maximum range accuracy 70%. You're right. There we are. The point blank and the maximum are the same in both cases. Oh, wow. I'd never seen that before. That's really interesting. Okay. So, yeah, that's actually... I've never noticed that. I'll forget to write a bug report, but if you could actually write that in the Steam, like, whether you use the forums or the Steam, I would definitely report that because that is definitely a bug. And if you're needing if you need to show it, you can actually just tell them that 27 minutes into my live stream, it does sort of show it there on the screen for the accuracies. Whereas if you don't actually, if you just go straight back to 1, you then get the 80/70. Hey, that's interesting. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it reported before either. Good pickup there, Boland. Very, very good pickup. So anyway, that's let's just go and cancel out of that one. So we're just waiting now, but we've got to sort of half try to rely on the fact that we can then gang up on different ships, and we did a good job of that last time. So yeah, there's different groups now conquering different areas. Mission exposed. Damn it! It's been detected after failing to steal research information on long-range scanners. Fortunately, we were able to escape, but the exposure of the mission will have diplomatic consequences. Now, the trouble we now have is that won't be 60% now. That's going to be much, much harder, and really needed him to be able to go and do that one. So I'm just going to go in and it still says 60%. I'll assign that again. We need to try to get this, even if it means risking losing him. I don't want to lose him, but that may be the case. It may just be what we have to do. So we'll just wait. Send him in yet again. I think he's our best spy. We have a lot of spy prisoners as well, but I don't have the money. Actually, I'm now getting positive money, which is good, but I've got a lot. I've been spending a lot. What do I need to crash this research? I need 56,000 at this stage. So I've only got 30,000. So I've got to double my money and then I should be okay. So a long-range scanner here is picking up these pirate ships, just sort of leaving the area. Hi, Mr. Jazz. I don't know if I said hi before. So we just wait now. Wait for something to happen. First contact. Okay, so here's some Dayuts which we've contacted in our Vanek system. Just missed that one. Don't really care about the pirates there. If they start attacking anything, I'll certainly destroy them. 5th Defence Force to assign to actually take these pirates out. Yep, go for it. So the 5th Defence will be over here. So that's just this is a defensive force, only a small one, but it's enough just to protect these systems at this stage. We don't have any really big threats that are coming in this side. Having said that, these guys have now settled a world in here, which is they've only just started to do it. An ocean world. Oh, they've got Actarians. Yeah, and Boscara. Oh yeah, no, the Boscara have only just started to arrive there. Alright, so the Actarians must have actually taken that world, and then the Boscarans have now taken it from them. In the Cadman system. Now that's interesting, there's some injured ships here. Oh, they're under construction, that's why. They're building up even more. As they're gearing up for war again. We gave them a bit of a blood nose last time. And, you know, it was actually pretty hard. So just let the game keep on thumping along. Slowly trying to build up this cash. I've got the 1st and the 8th in here. I've got 2 fleets. One fleet to just go off and do things, but I really want those long-range scanners if we can get them. Just have to wait for next year now. 2,800. Hopefully we then can pick up the scanners. Yeah, they're over 4 billion now. These are Gizarians on this world, so these are our own people. That are you know, sort of coming back in through here, but this is controlled by these guys, the Miletus. So if we have a bit of a look, I don't think we can sort of see much about this particular world here, but they do actually have a research station. They do actually have a planetary torpedo launcher, a planetary bastion, as well as an administration center. I would love to get this. So they've got, we've got 4 billion Gizarians, and they've got some Cormino and Ikaru as well. Yep, so we'll just leave that one where that is. They're fairly happy. Yeah, they're making a lot of money for them too. That's alright, there's other groups. This is way back over here somewhere. Those particular wars, which we don't need to really worry about. That's the Dayuts up this way. So we're sort of, we're going to be just really focusing on the south. I like it when the game gets to this sort of stage. It's quite interesting. And we are really behind. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Is that enough? Is that enough? So, still need 53. We're at 49. All right. We'll just wait. Now, mission complete. It's a galaxy map, which doesn't mean much. Come on. Boost up, boost up. Need a big boost to our money here. As we get towards the end of the year, we might sort of end up with a nice little boost along. We'll sort of get bonuses. There's 50,000. We are still spending money, but we're also making money. There we go. We just had a big expense for something, like might be fuel or something like this. So there's money going in and out at the same time all the time. So it's not a constant amount. But we need 50,000, 53,000 to be able to take on and sort of do the crash research for the destroyers, which are going to be vitally important. In fact, we need that, and we need the projectiles, and we need the long-range scanners. So we're about basically 52,000. There we go. 48 again. Come on. It gets so frustrating waiting for it to just hit the right number. So I've got my hand on the space bar to be able to pause the game. Of course, as time goes on as well. Okay, they've conquered another one. I'll just dismiss that one. 52.5, 52.7, 53.2. Is that enough? Is that enough? Yes, crash research now only 51,000, so that's actually okay. So we'll actually go and do a pay the cost for that one. So we're now going to halve the time to get that research. So that's going to be 2 and a bit years now, 2.5 years rather than 5 years. So we'll now sort of go with that one, but we've got no money, so we now have to sort of get our money back. So we're now going into the negative there for a little bit, but at least we should then get this one a lot faster. It also protects it from, we can't lose research on it. Like you can actually, there can be a chance we have like a catastrophic failure for your research. By the way, we don't have any scientists, so we actually killed all our scientists on purpose because one was a spy and the other one was useless. Yeah, so it wants us to keep on declaring war. I'm going to keep on declining that one. That's back up in here, and I'm not ready to do that. I really want to focus down in here. If I do that, then these guys will just attack me again. Again, they've got 11,400 now in terms of their firepower. We're still only seeing like a handful of ships, but they're congregating in here, which I don't like. So they're getting more and more of this fleet coming back in. That's the frigates. Again, very, very strong. They've only got blasters and 1 torpedo, 2 bubble shields and heavy armor. The other thing we've got is we do actually have iron cannons on our ships, which can disable shields. But when we were looking at the previous, like in the previous war, we didn't actually disable even one of their shields. We did disable weapons and engines, but not actually shields. Decline that. 5th is back here again now. Just keep them all going through. Starting to get positive again now. And so really, even with our destroyers, I'm going to have to wait until I actually end up getting the heavy railguns before I can really do anything with them effectively. The Gizarians, their ships are not designed. They're designed for swarming. They're not designed for having big, powerful ships. Whereas the Quamino are the opposite. Their ships do perform very, very well in small numbers. It's because of their ability to sort of protect themselves. The Quaminos are fun to play, I've got to say. They really are fun. I mean, all the factions now are becoming so great with the fleshing out of what they do. These guys are getting close to my territory, and I'm not super comfortable with that. I mean, they are another insectoid group like us, so it's not terrible. This here, there's more and more collecting in here as well. We'll wait and see what they do. I do have the 7th Strike Force and also the 3rd Defence Force are both now operating from this system. Lost money again. Oh, here we go. Colony joined us. The oppressed inhabitants of Kujela have switched allegiances from the Boscara Legionary and joined us. Now that's actually That's weird because that will be, where would that be? Boscara Legion. It's got to be in here somewhere. There it is up there. I don't want that. So this was so close to our capital that we've been able to exert pressure on them to flip. So they actually just flipped across. So if we have a bit of a look at this one through here, there's a pirate ship there which is actually friendly to us. So that's actually one of our Gizarian pirates. So they're not going to be doing much. What must have happened here is the population must have actually decided to. They've been attacked by these pirates, and it's caused them to become so unhappy that they've actually then decided to flip allegiances across to us. So even though these are Boscara, we do now actually have this world, but we've only got 31. They've only just settled it, so I don't even know if I want it. Empire bonuses from Kalua. This is actually good. That is good. If we go into building facilities, building ships and bases. Oh, it says no research bonus. Why is that? Ah, from the Boscara. 15%. Now, we don't get that benefit. We get that pro rata, like that 15%, and the war weariness reduction. We've only got like now a tiny number of Boscarans in our group, and so that's not going to really help us much. Like if we go across to our bonuses, we sort of half expect to see something to do with the weapons research. So we're getting a little bit. We're going to was it weapons that was the Boscara? So another look at that again. Yeah, so its weapons research should be plus 15%, but for us it's negative 1%. So it doesn't even rate because there's only like 31 million of them, as opposed to I think we've got like something like 11 or 12 billion Gizarians. So we don't have enough of them to impact our research at all. So that's where we are there. But anyway, that has now joined us. Now that was just something that they decided to do. It's not going to really put any pressure on us in terms of the Boscara. I'll just let it go forward again. Getting close to the spy finishing off his mission. So 2800 0426 is what we're looking for. So one more month. Come on, please do it. Please be successful. We need it. Hi Sev, how are you going? How's the consuming of lesser beings and fellow bugs? Well, we're in a bit of a waiting mode at this stage. We're getting close. So 1 month away now. 1 month away from hopefully getting long-range scanners. That's going to be super, super important for us. I'm going to decline that. We're up to 45,000 again. This is good if we then need to do a crash research on the long range. On the large railguns, which we will be wanting to do. There comes another ship coming back in. This is part of the third fleet. So the third fleet, for whatever reason, is building up in here, and I don't like that. I don't know what they're going to do. Yep, I'm going to decline that. To 51,000. This is good. I'm going to be able to do once we actually get this one in 2 years. Now we're days away from getting what we needed to. Now, I've got a few different missions in through here. So we'll assign that mission. There's a threat coming into here. This will be pirates, I'm assuming. And the 8th as well. We'll assign both of those across to hopefully protect the Odessa system. So we'll see how we go there. And please work, please work. This is it. Please be successful. Come on. Gone past the date. Yes, we got it. Okay. This is exactly what we needed. So we now have Shindu Livax has evaded detection after successfully carrying out their mission to steal research information on long-range sensors from the Myletus aspiration, or so Aspirian. And so this is so critical. This is such a critical thing. Now, the reason that this was so critical is we didn't have a hope in hell of getting this. We need to have long-range sensors of plus 20% to be able to then go and research it. In fact, I don't even think we're going to be able to see it. I'll just dismiss that for a second and go back into my research and have a look at certain things. Like, for example, gravitic weapons. If I try to do this one here, this is the same sort of thing that actually happened. So we need to have a plus 20% in weapons research to be able to grab gravitic weapons. And you can see there it's got a line through it, meaning that we can't actually do that one unless we steal it or find it or do something like that. And so the extra requirements are research threshold, 20% weapons research, bonus from all sources. So we have negative 17%, negative 1 from weapons research, plus negative 17% from all research, which essentially means we have negative 18% overall. And so we're nearly 40 difference in terms of our tech ability to be able to pick up that particular one. And the scanners, the long-range scanners, were exactly the same. So if we had a look at long-range scanners, which are down here, long-range scanners in through here. Now you can see down through there, their extra requirement was 20% sensor research. So we had to be plus 20% in sensor research to be able to go and do that one. But we had negative 15, so we were 35 away. We had plus 2 in sensor research anyway, but we had negative 17 from all research. So the all research, by being Gizarians, where we're really quite dumb, is a problem unless we can steal it and do some stuff like this. And so to get advanced sensors, that's going to be another 20%. We're just not going to be able to do that one. But no one else will have that one just yet, I don't think. I don't think the Quamino will actually have that particular one. But when we saw that they had long-range sensors, they're the only faction other than us now that we've seen that has actually got them. And so this then allows us to not be surprised. So we're going to be able to, every single star base that we have is going to, or starport is going to end up with a long-range sensor, along with any of the research stations that we have. So we're going to end up with long-range sensors everywhere. So we'll be able to now react quickly to threats. So that's a big strategic plus for us. Now they've also got it. Like if we just go and exit the research, they've also got it back over in through here. So we have a look at their location, at their home world, because we have an ambassador sitting here on this world. So one of the ambassadors that is sort of floating around in here is one of ours. And so they're here reporting on what they see. So there is actually a resort base there. There's a spaceport. If we go to their spaceport and have a look at what they have, we can then go and see that they do actually have a long-range sensor array back in through there as well. So that's why we knew that they had it, which is why we then targeted it. So they've got like a lot of really, really good stuff, like even heavy armor and things like this. I don't think we've got our equivalent. We may do. Let's have a look and see. Where is it? Let's see where we are with our... Yeah, actually, we do have the interlaced armor. This is the same as the heavy armor. Heavy armor comes through from layered armor. And so this is what the Quamino have got this one. We actually have interlaced hex armor, which is actually smaller and has a rating of 80, whereas this one's only got a rating of 72. So this is much better armor. So we have very, very strong armor with what we end up having. And ultimately, for us to get this one through here, we have to have plus 20% in armor research, and we've got negative 17%, so we're not going to be able to get this one, unfortunately. I don't think, like ever, basically, unless somehow we can, find some really, really good research locations. So we've got the interstellar destroyers are still on their way, and then we're going to go through to the heavy railguns as well, back and through there, just to pick up those. So that's the plan, but that's actually, we'll now start to see in our areas, immediately there'll be an update to the base designs. In fact, if we go and have a bit of a look, we should see that when we have a look, for example, at the resort bases, yep, they just kicked in there with the same date. So the AI has now designed resort bases, research stations, and should be starports as well. Yes, we've got the two different types of small spaceports have also now been updated. And if we just have a look and see what the AI, because I've just seen that the AI is doing the automatic updates. So if we have a look at the spaceports and click on those and just go to edit, we'll then sort of see with what they have that they now have two small hive hangars, which is actually the hive hangars are another big benefit that we have. Is the small craft our small craft are very, very good. So fighter capacity there of only 4. Actually, the medium would be good if we could get that. We might even look at trying to pick up something there. But the long range sensor array has now been placed inside these as well. So we end up with it's only 8. That's interesting. Only 8 fighters. We might have a look at that as well, because we do actually have bonuses being the Gizarians in terms of fighter craft. So let's have a look and see what we've got in there. So we've got the Hive Starfighters back in through there, which does just give me the small hive one. This one is the medium. This one allows me to have 8 fighter capacity in through there as well. And then we get the light bomber and light interceptor there as well with that one. Sort of, I think we might even try to get this one. What this will then do is it will then introduce a different type of ship that we have. Like the Starfighters are the basic interceptors and bombers. And you can see there the basic fighters have got like 1 weapon system for everyone else, and on the bombers have got like 2. There'll be differences between each of them, but the small starfighter bays for everyone else only has 2 fighter capacity, whereas ours has got 4. And then beyond that, they're then going to have other starfighter, like there's like our equivalent here is essentially this one the fighter craft there should be the same as what we see in through here. So if we have a look, this is 1556. I'll just have a look and see what that one is. That's 1556 all the way through there. Countermeasures, the same. Targeting, the same. The cost is the same. So these are identically the same. But getting this medium one through here, 7 years. But this actually is a big bonus. That way we can double the weapons on the light interceptor. I think that's worth getting. Actually, ship maneuvering. What has that one got? That's got 20 and 8. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same ship. Essentially, the basic fighters, basic bombers, and then we go with the light interceptor light bombers. We should actually look at getting these, because this is one of the benefits we have, is we can start to put in like hangars on ships as well. So we could end up with, even with our frigates, which is sort of rare, is we can actually end up with like a carrier force, but it's not going to be great against the Quamino. So it's not going to sort of do a hell of a lot, to be honest. So I'm just going to go, but I will actually queue that up. So we'll pay the cost just to get that put into the mix there. That's actually fairly useful. So and then if we can get the medium and actually then double the number of fighter craft, that's going to be very, very good. All right, let's go back out and wait. So we'll start to see these things pop up with long range scanners, and that way there won't be surprises when we get attacked, because the pirates will still attack us from over here. Hi, Cayuga Sensei saying fighters galore. Yes, no, the Gizarians are very gifted with that, as are the Actarians back over here. They can also be set up to actually have, like, they've got very, very good fighters. Their fighter craft is actually better than our fighter craft, but our hangars can actually have more fighters. If we could actually steal from them their basic fighters, in fact, if we have a bit of a look at that, let's just go back to our spies, which are all actually, they're off doing different things, which is still fine. Actually, I'll just leave them to it, I think. If I just go to this guy and just cancel the mission, just to sort of see what everyone actually does have. The Actarian star alignment, if we go into steel research and then see what they've got you can see again, they've got starfighters, which is a different type of fighter craft that they actually have access to. But again, we don't have a hope in hell of getting all this stuff. But they've got planetary shields. They've got all sorts of stuff. We just don't. They've got destroyers already. which they're currently researching that. So we're 51%, and there's yeah. So we don't need to be. I'm not going to do any of those. I'll just go. I won't assign that mission. I'll just leave that one where it is. So with no mission, he'll then just go back into his auto protecting things. Here we go. So the frigates now under attack by the pirates. Let's go and have a bit of a look. And so this is actually this is the 4th invasion fleet, where we do actually have a few of our frigates, and they've come in against a large cruiser, the Dunkirk, in through this other side, which has only got block armor. That's interesting. Corvidian shields. This one does have heavy rail guns. I can tell you now that these guys aren't going to be able to do anything. There's a construction ship coming in with no mission there. I'm going to take the 4th out of this fight. They're not going to be able to really take on this ship. What's the shielding like? Actually, it is jumping. In that case, I will actually allow that to happen. So it's moving away. In that case, I'll allow the 4th to sort of deal with that. Okay, there. Yeah, so that's the Ikaru design. All right, that's fine. So the 4th moved away. Now that's the 1st and the 8th are now moving in as well. They were there to protect that. I think I might set the 8th up to be stationed in the Odessa system, and so at this world. Where is it? That way it will end up just automatically going there. Now it was moving over here. That's the 1st, which has actually come in. There's actually that's one of ours. Actually, that's the cruiser. They're sort of trying to target those pirate ships. And those pirate ships will be the next big group of things that we have to then go up against. The 5th is way back at home. I'm glad that we've got positive cash flow. That's a good thing. Now the 5th has only got like a smallish area, but they're going off to the Vatai system. They don't need to do that. There's already a group there, the 6th, which is actually a big group. Just allow them to go off and do these missions. Nothing to do with us. So we could sort of move into their territory here and take this one out. I was actually hoping that was the one that was going to flip, but it's not going to flip. So we actually have another pirate, the Black Dagger Army, which are Harkonish pirates. I can't do anything about that. That's too far away. We don't have anyone out there to protect it. So they're operating from over here. Hi Began, how are you going? So with our destroyers, we may end up with 2 different destroyer designs. One with fightercraft and one with, or even frigates with fightercraft would actually work. Decline that. I don't think we can do it with the escorts. I mean, it's sort of one of these things where we may have the option to. If I just go back in and edit, yeah, no, we don't have it on the escorts, but the frigates we actually do. I do actually have a hangar bay there if I do want to use it. So I could actually create like a mini group of sort of like mini carriers. I'm still not seeing the long range scanners yet, but they'll be retrofitting the star bases up. So just make sure we've got a spaceport in here. We should do. Where is it? Over this way. Yeah, we do. And so that should be being built. Not yet. Not yet. Alright, so we now have, that's one of ours. That's one of our pirate ships. This is one of theirs. So we do actually have, this one is now jumping, but it has taken a bit of damage from our ships. So we're sort of swarming in. There goes some small craft as well. If we can somehow disable it before it can do anything, that would be great. The fact that it's moving around is actually a good idea. Is good. We do actually have ships. We are boarding this one. This is a fleet destroyer, and again, if they've got weaponry that we want, like the hail cannon, would be good. I don't think we've got that one. We may have that one actually, but yeah, this is good. So we should actually be able to capture this ship as well. One of our benefits is we can pull apart ships and get technology that way as well. It's moved off out to here, but it should still fall because it's that should become our ship very, very soon. There it is. So we now actually have this ship. So with this one through here, it's going off to repair, but I'm going to go and tell it to retire, and that way we'll pull it apart and hopefully get some technology from it. So we'll bring that one in to be pulled apart at one of the stations. Yeah, we're seeing other pirate ships coming in, so they're certainly moving around a lot. The pirate ships, that big fleet that we saw, we have to destroy this, and it's ideal because hopefully we'll be able to then sort of take the ships apart, pull them apart. Now, how many have we got in here now? Are they still congregating? Yeah, they're building up more and more of this particular fleet, so they're bringing more of the ships in. I don't know why. It's inside our territory. And we should be upgrading all of these. Got 108,000 now, so there's no excuse. These I might just go back to the actual, particularly this one here. I need a few of these desperately. So this one here is retrofit to SSP 8. It's only 18 credits to go and do that one. And so it's already a 7, and so it's now going to be under construction. I might just go from spaceport to spaceport and ensure that sort of happens in the critical locations, like in the Vati system, for example. We've got a system there. This is... that's interesting, we actually don't even have a spaceport there. Now any attack that comes through is most likely going to come from this direction, so I'm just going to go and build a small spaceport at that location. So we'll leave that one where that is. And Athvar has now built theirs, as has Venex, so they're actually already done, as has Keridwen. So we are getting them all sort of established now. So we're getting the long-range scanners now at all the important locations except for out here, which we will get soon enough. And we need these just to sort of take on the pirates. Here we go. So the 8th is now sort of operating against other ships. We've got small craft, have we? Yeah, this is just this is just coming in for raids. The 8th will have now used up all of its boarding assault strength, so we just need to go and stop this raid from coming in if we can. We've still got the 4th back over here as well, but we actually have a lot of bigger ships. There's a fleet destroyer there, so we're not going to be able to stop this raid. But if we can kill off a lot of these ships, so I'll just micro this a little bit. So I'm just going to go and kill this one off. More pirate ships coming in. Oh no, that's coming in to retire. It's gone. Let's just keep on attacking these one after the other. We do have small craft coming in to attack as well. Nothing much there. And unfortunately we're going to have pirates landing here, which is going to cause issues. Now the 4th, we do have to be a bit careful of this, because they're actually, in fact it may be better for us to come out and actually attack these with the 8th. So we'll jump across and we'll attack this one here, just to lend support. And I'll have to let they're trying to escape. They're coming in to still raid. These guys here will have one assault pod. So that's sort of like one group that will then be able to land on the planet. Hope that they jump. Are they all setting up to jump? No, they're not. In that case, if they're not going to jump across, I might just tell them to move out to here even further away. Still not jumping. In that case, go for this one. We're doing a good job here, actually. These, yeah, we're now under attack, so we're going to see there'll be some ships coming in to land. Raided. Ground battle now rages at the colony, so there's now the first of the pirates has now landed. We need to protect it, but we don't really want them being, you know, they'll become angry if we if we allow the pirates to raid like this. So we need to sort of keep the people happy. 8th is now chasing this one away. Destroy there as well. Raiders have withdrawn, but they did steal a lot of stuff. That's then going to make our citizens here unhappy. If we have a look at the colony details, so the approval here is plus 14 at this point in time, but the tax rate is 0, and so we should see there should be unhappiness. They're unhappy with us conquering them. There should also be unhappiness about the pirates as well, but it's not there yet. We did repel them, so I guess that, you know, technically, even though they stole stuff, we did actually repel them. The 8th, we'll move that one across to here. It's escaping. My ships are set to escape if they you know, becomes too much for them. There's nothing on the planet just yet. Oscar and the Actarians are still struggling. Oh, now that's actually jumping away. The 4th has still got like a lot of its boarding assault strength. I might just see if we can capture this. Take hold of that ship as well. No, it's gone. There won't be enough on there for that one. More pirates coming in. There's heaps of them. There's absolutely heaps of them. 8th is now coming around. It's been raided yet again. This is bad for us in terms of happiness. We're not seeing any unhappy planets there just yet, but it will come. Being beaten back again, that's good. But there's more and more waves of pirates coming in. No damage yet on the 4th fleet. The 8th fleet is going to be fairly good with what it's doing. Hyperdrive is offline from iron damage, so we've actually been able to disable this ship, but the 8th fleet still won't have the boarding assault strength. We should have told you what the cooldown was on those. I guess I can't for a fleet, but even individual ships, it would be just nice to know. one's gone. Now take this one. That one's trying to make a run in as well. It's only a heavy escort, so I'll just keep the 8th. There's even more over here. Now, is that the first? No, there's still the 4th. Yeah, there's heaps of them. Look at them all. There's, oh, that's ours. God, they're everywhere. Alright, well, we'll try to take out these other big ships. We have to sort of whittle them down anyway. That's interesting. They're using pulse cannons, which are Wekarus design. Pulse wave cannons, yeah, that's interesting. Alright, well, we're not going to be able to get that one either, I don't think. This is the fuel transport, somehow that's involved in the fight. Okay, it's destroyed. One of our ships. Okay, that's happening pretty fast now. More ships coming in, so this is actually, we're doing a good job of destroying their ships. We'll still pick up some loot from this, but it's not going to be as good as if we can actually capture them. But we need to still do this anyway. We just can't leave them around. Can't leave the threats where they are. Some of them are retiring. Still doing raids. Here comes the first to come in and help. That's good. Alright, we've actually really given the pirates now a big blood nose. We may even go after their actual base. I'm going to decline that one. We've already got enough in this system. We're finding more and more threats coming in. Take a gravel exit for Santa. I'll accept that. I'll assign that mission to the 7th. That one's good. The 8th, sorry, the 1st now looks like it's moved off. Yeah, they're moving around. The 8th I'm going to put back onto defensive role. So I'll just keep that one where that is. There shouldn't be any other targets in here for them to go after now. So they'll just sort of sit back and patrol this area. The 1st will then just go and do its thing. We now actually have the long-range scanners in through here, so we can start to see anything now moving in towards us. So we have ships that are now moving in here. Again, more pirate ships without knowing what they're doing. 8th Fleet. Yep, we'll assign that mission. Treasure recovered. So this is actually back in around here. We're picking up the loot that was actually at this location. We have to be careful of this guy as well. He's also picking up loot. We don't want this. This is the Miletus. So unfortunately, he's going to be picking up the loot from that should be ours. Eventually, we'll get there, but yeah, there's nothing much we can do about that one. So the 8th is now moving off to attack other things. One's damaged. 4th is not doing much. So we now start to see the pirate ships coming in. Alright, so 74%, 1 year to go. Then we can at least get the big guys. Not sure whether I should bother with sort of starting to deck out those until we actually have the big rail guns. I mean, that's the reason we're getting them. Now, why is that heading off? Yeah, there's a Gravelex in there somewhere. Allow that to happen. This is good now. Now that we've got the long-range scanners, we shouldn't be surprised. That was so important to get that. Mission completed. So again, it wants us to declare war in the north, which I'm going to decline. And evade detection, galaxy map of the Myleta. So we sort of now get to see what they see, what they're aware of, which doesn't mean much, to be honest. So if we play defensively, if they go to war with us again, we should be able to at least spot what they're doing. And if I've got two big fleets in here, their ships also move faster than ours as well, which is another problem that we do actually have. So their hyperspace speed is a level up of like they're 10% faster, which is an issue. I don't even know if I've got the ability to get that either. That's the hyperdrives are. So we've got the Jerax here. We don't have the chance to pick up any of these unless we sort of somehow loot them. But they've already got the next level. So the Quimino really are very, very good at research. More pirate ships coming in. See more ships back in this way. Don't know what they're from. It also means that this Martiga system with its ultra long range scanner is no longer as critical as what it was, because we've now got at least got the long range. New colony. Established new colony at the volcanic planet of Gulrath 1 in the Gulrath system. Now we were going for that way up in here. This is actually one that we got some Shandars, and so it took us a long time to settle that one. But this is sort of now where we do actually have a bit of an issue, because we will need to protect that. And I don't really have any group that I can send up that way. The sixth, if the sixth was set to, well, I'm not seeing any real threat coming from the Boscara. I could send the sixth back to there and then send that one up, just to protect it. I think that's a friendly faction in there as well. The actual pirate group that's in here, for example. Yeah, they're friendly. Look, I won't protect that world. I'll just let it sort of build up slowly. What I might just do is tell it to go and build some protections initially. Just get five started to be built. Okay, we've got that one done. Oh, sorry, I had it on pause there for a second. Chase these things down. Now this is the 8th. We have our boarding assault strength back up again. Let's just go and capture this thing. We'll hit it with iron weaponry. We do actually have forces on board now, so yeah, we'll get that one as well. That's going to be useful, even if it does jump. No, it's not going to be able to jump. It's now ours. So with that particular ship, retire back in through here as well. So hopefully we'll pick up loot from all of this. That one's still being retired, so it's being pulled apart, and we've just got to hope that we end up with technology. We'll pick up some, but we have like playing as the Gizarians, we do have there's a 25% chance that we're going to actually pick up a whole new random technology when we do this sort of stuff. That's why capturing ships is for us very, very important. There's another ship moving in there. Sign the second. And the third. They're sort of further back over this way now. Not sure what the threats actually are. Pirates. Okay, we're still a fair way off with the destroyers, unfortunately. We do have enough to then crash research immediately the large railguns. It's one of their strike forces. Again, 5 ships with 3,000 strength. Incredibly strong, these guys. %, now, so still a little way to go. So basic prayer is saying hi and then saying, can you make carriers in this game? Yes, you can. Where they are is, well, I'm going to be potentially making small carriers as soon as we get destroyers. But when we have a look at destroyers, once we actually unlock destroyers, I've got it so that we don't get to see the full tech tree. After this tech tree, there's then light cruisers, which is back over here somewhere. And then after that, further up this way, there's then carriers and battleships and sort of dreadnoughts and things like that sort of then start to appear further down in the tech tree. So we can unlock dedicated carriers up here ultimately, but that's a long way off for us. And it's going to be very difficult for us to get that just with what we have. But our actual, you can see down through there, we end up with 2 large hangars on our destroyer design, which does give us the opportunity to essentially create like a very, very powerful sort of mini carrier using destroyers if we wanted to. So we'll probably end up with 2 different destroyer designs, one as a carrier design and one with one is essentially a railgun design for trying to take out the Quiminos. But the hangar designs, if we get enough of those, we can then swarm in with big ships. So I'll probably design both of those once we get those. So the research we're doing at the moment, we've got number 1 is we're doing that one. Number 2 is we're trying to go and get the big rail guns, which are up here. Where are they? This one here. So we're sort of close, like we've actually been able to pick up a lot of railgun technology. So it won't take us long to get this one, like 2 and a bit years, but we'll be able to halve that. And then the third one that we want to pick up is to get our medium hive fighters, which allows us to get a medium hive hangar back in through there, and also then just get the next level of interceptors and bombers. So this will then set us up to actually be able to use light carriers, essentially using destroyers. We can also use frigates. So we actually have the system patrol ships give us the frigate, and you can see through there we end up with 1 large size hangar bay on these. So I can even make frigates into carriers if I need to. There's also enhanced frigates up through this other side. All of them have just got 1 large hangar bay, but these would be good for us to get, Frigates for us are really, really important, like vitally important. I might even queue them up. There's 7 and a bit years of research to get these, though. But I can see, we'll see what happens after we get destroyers as to what this opens up, and whether we can actually do the research to get deeper into the bigger ships. But one of the things the Gizarians have, like we're sort of like a bug faction, is we have swarm tactics, and the swarm tactics allow us to target very, very effectively. Like if I go into my first fleet, for example, you can see it's got a plus 20% targeting from swarm targeting. It gets a plus 1% targeting based on the number of ships that are in the fleet, like Gizarian ships. I'm not going to worry about that one. We just missed that as well. There's different invasions going on that we're not really involved in. So anyway, that's all happening. I could take this world. It's just we're going to lose it if we do take it. Like it's not going to really be something we can hold on to, I don't think. Mission completed. What did you steal? Territory map. That's not really important. Decline that one as well. Just read a few more of the comments there. So basic prayers and saying I played Distant Worlds Universe for quite a bit and never got it. It was fun. I just never learned as much as I wanted. I had a lot of time to play while I was on a boat in the Navy. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's look, Distant Worlds 2 is more intuitive. The user experience, user interface is certainly much more improved than Universe, and the combat in Distant Worlds, in Distant Worlds 2 is so much more involved than in Distant Worlds 1. Like it's in very, very good ways. Like the actual ship designs really sort of matter with what you end up doing. And so when we get these guys here, I'll be able to sort of show a bit more of that one. Yep. So Baron Velikov, I'll just say hi. Just wanted to know what DasDemption is. If you do name a ship. Like if you use a DasDemption and name a ship and the ship gets killed, basically you get banned for half an hour. And hi Miladu, how you going? So with that one through there, we'll just keep on sort of rattling through. But these destroyers, we really are setting our hopes on getting those before the next war starts with these guys. Their ships. When I started this session, I went through what their ship designs do well. We'll do another review of that one when we come back in. There is a group of ships in here that we can have a look at to see what their actual ships designs actually are. So we'll be able to have a look and just double check again what they're doing, and then sort of come back in. Whole lot of pirate ships coming back in through here for whatever reason. Not sure where they're all going. Getting close now. We're 156 days away from getting the destroyer designs. So a lot of the game has got much better automation than the original game had with the fleets. As long as you know sort of what to do and how to use it. Now we've got a frigate under attack. Is that the 8th again? That's the first. First defence force over there. And we did iron damage to it. I'm going to try to capture this ship as well. So with this one through here, its hyperdrive is offline, which will allow us to basically get that one. I'm just going to go back to the first and tell them that their job is to just again be a defender. So ultimately once they do this, they'll then just go back to doing things automatically. The 8th is also set to manual. Let's make that one defend as well. So it's important that we reset these just so the AI can then manage the actual fleets more effectively. So that's all going to be okay where that is. Yeah, I think everything else is going fairly well. They've taken a long time. The 7th has taken a long time to get into here because of the nebula that it's got to go through. So that sort of circle there is a nebula that it's sort of operating inside of now. So it just takes a long time to operate inside there. The long-range scanners are now picking up the various other ships. Let's just keep on scrolling on. 90% now. Not going to worry about these. If they're not if they're not Gizarians, I'm not going to do anything with the pirates. So I'm only going to. There's a bit of a house rule of only befriending the same faction that we are in terms of pirates. Our borders are expanding out through here, which is good. And that's That's based on the culture of the planets around it. So basic prayer saying, so bigger ship hull sizes can fit more components. Yes, I'll show you that once we get the destroyers, because I'm going to have to really plan out how we deck out this destroyer when we do get it. And it's going to have to supplement our existing fleets as well. Like, we're going to have to add them into our existing fleet. So it's a lot more involved than Distant Worlds 1 ever was. Like, a lot more involved. If you sort of even half enjoyed Distant Worlds 1, you're going to love Distant Worlds 2. I think where people get confused with this and Distant Worlds 1 essentially is that it's a simulation game at its core. That's really what it is, more so than anything else. We've got different fleets now moving off. That's the second fleet moving off to a spaceport back into here. So they're bouncing through there. That's going to slow them right down going into that location. 94%, here we go, 81 days, so we're a couple of months away now. And then we'll be able to start to design up and add even more ships into the fleets, and hopefully then compete against the Quamino. So we'll start off when we get the destroyers, having a quick look at the Quamino ships and what we need to do to overcome what they've got. So we're designing our destroyers to defeat them, which means that if we're going up against a different group, like we can see, for example, there's also some ships there of the Actarians. Now that's different again. Like, we've got a completely different. I might even show both. We're not at war with the Actarians. We're not even close to being at war with them. But we might have a look at their ships as well, and just as you can see there, the difference between each actual faction. It really is amazing, like what they've done in the game. So I'm just going to decline that one. Yeah, very impressive what they've done with this game. I love it. Just the intricacy of what you can actually then go and do. The 8th Fleet will assign the missions there. So these are now coming in to attack this ship. If it's this is a cruiser, I would love to capture this. So the first does have boarding assault strength, so I'm just going to go and tell it to capture that particular ship. What it has to do, if we have a look and we'll watch this one while we wait for the destroyers to come. But in this case, this particular cruiser has got it's got heavy railguns. If we can grab this ship, actually the cruisers I'm trying to keep in my fleets, and in fact the fact that it's got 2 heavy railguns, that's exactly what we want to fight against the Quamino. So I think I'd actually keep this particular ship if we can capture it. So what we need to do to capture this ship is we have to first of all stop it from running. So we have to stop its we have to essentially destroy its ability to jump into hyperspace, and we have to also whittle down its shielding. So the shields have to go down to 0 for us to allow our forces to get on board. So even though we've told these ships to capture it, the trouble that they're going to have is they have to attack it enough to get what it wants. Now, if that's jumping, it's not yet. It's going in to try to raid a mining station. So it's going to see the threat. Like, once it starts to take damage, it's going to then start to want to jump. But in this case, it has only 2 shields, so the shields aren't going to last very long. And so we'll just watch. But this is a very, very powerful cruiser. This is we've got frigates and escorts. That's all we actually have in our fleet. Beyond that, we then end up having the destroyers, which we're trying to get. Beyond that, there's then the cruisers. So this is the next level, and then beyond that, there's battleships. So this is sort of like the next level. But we have a massive fleet coming in, including we actually captured a pirate cruiser here as well. So the Tonshak, which has got like a different sort of loadout in terms of its weaponry in this other side. So anyway, that's the first, I think. Yeah, the first defense coming back in. So I've told it to capture. So when we look at this one through here, we'll see it. We'll then still fire at it. It's now trying to jump away. We have to disable it. Now, we also have these little things here are iron pellets, iron weapons. They're trying to disable the ship. They missed. There's some pulse cannons coming in from the cruiser there. It's going to still try to jump. We're getting its shielding down, but we need to get these the iron cannons are now hitting it. but we haven't actually done any iron damage yet. Come on, we need these iron. Yeah, there we go. We've done some iron damage, but it's only taken out one of their weapon systems. Need more iron cannons before it can jump, and damn it, it got away. So we didn't actually manage to do that one. So that's actually now moved off. The first is, I'm just going to tell it to go back to a defensive role. That way it'll just automatically look after this region of space. All right, let's wait. So unfortunately we didn't quite get there, but the iron cannons had a chance of disabling the hyperdrive. And the hyperdrive is just one of the components. So we're nearly there now, just 15 days, and then we get the destroyers. And then we can start to plan things out a little bit more effectively. There we are, 100%, and any day now. There we go, got it now. So there's other wars going on that we're just getting information about. So we now have the interstellar destroyers research completed. Now I'm just going to quickly crash research these. These are 2.5 years. If I go and click on this, it's going to cost me 21,000 to do a crash research, which will then halve the time to research it, and will also protect it. So initiating crash research for the accelerated projectiles will cost 21,000. This project cannot be cancelled after these costs have been paid, so we can't switch things around. So we'll pay the costs. So we're going to now get that in 1.17 years. And then after that, we'll go for the medium-high fighters. So I can't actually, to be honest, I can't really do anything with those destroyer designs until I get that. And the reason I need that is to break through the shielding of the Quaminos. I'll explain that once we get it, because it'll make more sense, I think, once we actually pick up this one. So let's just let that one roll forward. Then we'll sort of do our ship designs. So unfortunately, that Dunkirk class cruiser escaped. I would have liked to have gotten that one. Our ships are geared for capturing ships. That's really what we're all about. There we go. These are now moving their way out. They're moving to Excalibur. If I see anyone else going to be checking out Era 1 here shortly. I'm not sure what Era 1 is. Is it a game? If it is, I haven't heard of it. They're now moving off. Which means we're not going to be able to check and see what they're doing. I don't have an ambassador back over in their system, so I can't actually see what they're doing. These ships are just frigates. Let's have a quick look and see what they've got. They also have the ability to put on hangars. So they can actually put a hangar bay on. So we're not seeing it in through here, but they're like us. They're the only other faction that can put hangars on small ships. And their small craft are even better than ours. Actually, there's another fleet coming in of their ships. Mission complete. That's okay. So we can see that this is actually their grouping. This will, as they come closer into the long-range scanner, these will then pick up what these ships actually are. There's a fair group of them, which means it looks like it's a military force moving in. Like in this territory, there's the existing infrastructure that a lot of these guys actually control, and I haven't tried to negotiate for it or anything like that. So we should start to pick up what this is fairly soon. Here we go. It's an invasion fleet. So what we're interested in here is, does it have any troops unknown at this stage? Let's have a look and see. As they get closer and closer into our long-range scanners, we'll find out more and more information. There we go. Zero's troops. So they're probably just coming off because they're at war with the Boscara, and it's sort of been a difficult war for them, I think. Yep, so these aren't anything to do with us. Declare war, decline. This is actually the peons are sort of up into here, which I don't really want to be doing that. If they declare war against us, we've got a bit of a problem with the Gulrith system, but it's not really going to matter that much, to be honest. Oh, that's actually moving off. That's actually where it's operating from. Okay, I didn't realise this is actually a big raiding. This is a raiding fleet, so this has been set to raid as their role, which is this purple area. This is the area that they're operating in, which is actually too large. So I'm just going to go across. Actually, no, it's the top one through here. I'm going to set that to 100m range, just so that will be what they raid ultimately. So it'll sort of keep them fairly contained. If you see the like the shields there, it means they're defensive. Lightning bolt means it's a raiding fleet. Dots like that means it's an invasion fleet. Yeah, so most of mine have just been set for defense at this stage. And we don't have one out here just yet, but we'll get it eventually. Seifu saying, should I peacefully colonise independent colony even if my population have low habitability on the planet, and after colonising stop immigration here? It'll sort of do it anyway, but yes, you should get them. Like depending on, you don't want to go crazy with it. Assign mission, send to prepare an attack, the cruel aggressor. Again, looks like a big ship. We'll assign that mission. Yes, the way it works is that if we have a look at the colonies that we actually have. So if we have a look in through here, you'll see that there's like, this is the total amount of money that we're making from each colony. And so it's vitally important that we need to get all this money in to be able to then go and pay for the ships. So this is before we pay maintenance on ships and stuff like this. So even though we're making really good money at our home world, Venex 1 as well, these are all worlds that have slowly sort of we've been able to develop. But when you settle a new world, like all of these worlds down through here, it takes a long time where they actually drain your economy. So be really careful that you don't get too many of them, because particularly in the early part of the game, until you can afford to settle them, it's a real issue. I try to only have one at a time, so don't just go crazy grabbing worlds, because it will drain your money very, very quickly. Having said that, I'm tempted to grab this one, but through invasion, not through colonization. But even if they're not, like we've got a world in here, for example, with Ugnari on it, and so if we have a look at this particular world, we've had this for quite some period of time, where we've actually got like Ugnari plus others. It's not going to matter that much. If I go and hover over it, you can see there that some of the Gizarians have actually moved in there, and our growth rate there is still fine, even though the Gizarians don't like this world. If we go to the quality, it's a +1 there for Gizarians. So this is a really, like +20 is ideal, or more than +20. So for the Ignari it works out well, but for us it's terrible. Like it's really a bad world. If we go to, what's another world that would be another example? I mean, in the Cardama system, this is actually a world that we took over relatively recently. And so you can see there we've got Gizarians back in through there. For us it's a -3, so we don't even like it, but we're actually we're growing at +7%, so it really doesn't matter once you've actually got the world, as long as the prevalent grouping. In this case, we've got 600 million Naxilians, and we've got 600,000 of the Gizarians, but the Gizarians were sort of still settling on the world. It really doesn't matter, so you don't have to micromanage that. Here we go. We've got a group coming in. Now, they may be bouncing off on their way somewhere else. So we'll see what actually happens with them, depending on where they go to. They could be raiding this, but I don't think they will. And if they are, the 8th is here. Here they come. They are raiding it. So when we have a look at this one, these are this is another. Actually, it's coming. It thought that the Espionage system. Actually, is this one of our friendly ones? No, it's not. So they thought that, because at one point this was independent, so they've actually come in to refuel, and they don't have any fuel, which means that they can't really use their weapon system. They're at a disadvantage here, a big disadvantage. I'll see if my ships respond. Yeah, they are. They're going to go off automatically and defend. This one should try to jump away again. And here comes another one as well. And these are all out of fuel. Because we're not going to be designing our ships until we get the railguns, just to quickly go through the way this works. If I go and have a look at these fleet destroyers, they've got Lance missiles, which are really, really long range. So they've got long range missiles back in through there, 2 shields, 2 armor. But in through here, they've got the Nova Core reactor. So these are sort of like Cormino style reactors, but not Cormino style shielding. They've got 2 reactors, which is overkill. We'll see that in the energy outputs, but the energy requires fuel. So for the reactors to work, they need to actually have the fuel coming through. And so when we have a look at this one through here, the reactor, actually no, they do need both to get this hyper jump, because it's slightly over halfway for the hyper jump, but it means that the hyper jump would be slow if they did that one. But its hyper jump speed is really, really high. So it's using a velocity drive. That's its hyper drive back in through there, which I would love to get hold of that. So I'm going to tell the 8th to capture. Are they both the same? Yeah, they're both Kamchatka design with velocity drives. One's a bit closer. Let's just go to the 8th and tell them to capture this ship. And they should try to jump away, but without actually being able to fire up their reactors, everything slows down for them. Like their speed is going to be slow, but their weaponry is not going to fire as well. So we're trying to offer us protection, which would then mean we wouldn't attack them. Small craft are going in to attack. Shielding is starting to come down. There we go. And we've got enough on board to capture this ship. That one's trying to now escape. In the meantime, this one is still coming in, thinking it can still refuel here, but no, we control the world now. So that's definitely going to be failing. So we'll just get the 8th now, and we'll destroy this ship. Again, I'd love to capture it. We've still got 373, but I'll try to capture it. I'll just give it an order to capture there as well. Will fall. Yeah, it's already fallen. And so this fleet destroyer, I want this one to retire as well. Assign that mission. So it takes a long time to pick up the boarding assault strength again. Small craft, you can see, are quite effective. So these are sort of firing in on the actual, like these have got just little Epsilon torpedoes. But they're firing on these ships fairly effectively. The shielding is coming down very, very quickly. And we need to try to disable it before it can jump. And so by disabling it, we now have some forces on board, but this is going to, like, I think we're ultimately going to have to destroy this particular ship. If we have a look at the at what it's doing in through here. We have to either disable or damage both reactors or the hyperdrive itself, the velocity drive. So that's actually what we're aiming to do before it can then jump. If we don't do that, it will be able to jump away. Declare war, no, decline that. Mission complete. Dismiss that one. And it got away, and we don't have enough troops on board to be able to stop it from doing that one. Just going to go back to the 8th and tell it to go back to defend again. Almost got the heavy railguns now. There's another one. Now we've actually found a hive ship, and we have an explorer moving in close, which I don't really want it to do that. The Vantress system. I'll leave it where that is. It's just off there. Just dismiss that. We don't want to wake them up. They're also going to be a painful experience for us if that's the case. What's that one there? That's another one. Oh, this is actually one of the other pirate group. These ones do actually have fuel. So they're coming in for round 2. That's the other one. These are the ones out of fuel. So we'll just get the 8th to take on the threat, which is this one here. Attack. Still have a little bit of troops there, but it's now not really worth doing that one. So there's a chance when we're retiring these ships. Now that one there has been retiring for quite some time, I think. Grab the 8th and send it down here now. And what's that one? That's a fleet frigate. So not that powerful. Now it's attacking the other pirate ship. So they're from different groups. Just jumping away. Gone. Right, so the 8th, we're just going to stop it from any queued missions and just put it back to defend again. There's another one coming in over here. Now that's the 7th that has now sort of come in as well. They'll take out some of these. And then we have a fleet destroyer coming back in. So I just grab the 8th again and just tell them that this is now their new target. Von Schwanhut saying, wonder, don't these hive ships suffer any damage when waking up whilst in a nebula? No, I don't think they do. I think they basically come in. This is actually something that happens with not the Artooks, the Teekans. I think it's a Teekan hunt. It's nothing to do with us. Oh, hang on, no, Daots. Daots have actually sort of that's one of their events, nothing to do with us. Colony raided, so Murderous Moon have actually Gulrath. They've actually raided that particular world, which is not good. And so we will need to so they're attacking Gulrath, unfortunately. That's in the north, miles away from where we are. We may need to build another defensive fleet. Actually, we do have the money for it. I'll just wait until we get the railguns and then we'll sort of figure out what to do. Just leave them where they are. So Gulrath, ultimately we are going to need to have a group there. Investigate reports. Yep, assign that one. Assign that one as well. Well, I might go and set up another fleet and just another small defence fleet for Gulrath. Assign the first defence force to investigate. I'm going to decline that one because I've already got 2 other fleets over there. We'll accept the treaty. We decline that treaty. First, at Odessa, no, decline. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Odessa system, but I'm just going to leave them to the 8th and the 7th. A lot of pirates coming in. Now, with the, I'm going to just quickly go into my fleet templates, and I'm just going to go and get a defense fleet, which has only got 9 ships in it, and just go and build another one. So we're going to form a new defence fleet. Actually, we're going to build a new defence fleet and I'm just going to build this one at the homeworld, at the Athfar 1 spaceport. And so this is now being queued up. So this is going to be fleet number 9. So I'll go Control 9, just so we've actually got it there selected. It's a defensive fleet, and it's set around the Athfar system. Just going to go and change its range to. It's got 50M. Maybe 50M is small enough, I think. Yeah, I'll go that way. So I'll just go and tell that its home system is going to be up in here. This way we just need to have some sort of protection against the pirates. So just go to the 9th. Home base for the 9th will then be there. And so with the 9th selected, we'll then start to see that's going to be what it's going to be protecting in that region. So once it's built, that's where it'll go. So I don't need to even think about it. It's now just going to look after it. Here comes a whole lot more ships. These are all part of the 3rd fleet again. It's where we're getting close now, only a few days away, like a couple of months away. Just going to grab a drink of water, be right back. So we have a treaty. No, decline that. And I'll just dismiss that. We've got different ships now coming back in to do different things. More pirates coming in. New escort completed, so that's the 1st of the 9th. It's now been done. We'll decline that one. So managing fleets this way with the templating is really, really handy. It just means you don't have to think about it. Mission completed. Again, just territory maps. It's getting stronger and stronger in here. They're bringing more and more of their ships across, and I don't know why. I don't like it. We do have our own fleet in here, but it's only a fraction of what the strength of their ships are. Still dealing with the pirates. Alright, we're nearly there now. 13 days, then we're going to be able to start to design the ships up. Hi Falcons, how are you going? Alright, new escort completed again. So we're just slowly building them up at the Athfar spaceport. There we go, got them now. So we want to get these as well fairly fast. This is 7 years away to get these. I'm just going to go and crash research this one, pay the costs. So we'll then get that in half the time. So it will then come in 3 and a bit years. I should actually go and pick up another one, but we now have the rig railguns. Let's now talk about why we need them and what we're going to now do with the ships that we actually have. So I'll just quickly summarize again what we're going to be up against. So we're going to be up against, this is a fleet. When we have a look at the actual ships, there's 22 ships in this fleet, and it's 11,500 in combat strength. Like if I go and click on the 3rd fleet and grab it, you can see through here, strength 11,200 with 22 ships and 0 fighters. So they're not using any fighter craft. A lot of their ships are out of fuel, and not all of them are actually at this location, but they are congregating in here, and this is actually going to be our next attack. Someone's saying hello, Daz, and as always, I'm enjoying your Worldly Wednesday. Yeah, it's really getting quite involved with what's actually happening. So this is 11,000 for 22 ships. To put that into context, I've got 20 ships in here for 1,800. So it's nearly like it's a 5-to-1 ratio, well, more than a 5-to-1. It's probably 6-to-1, 7-to-1 ratio in terms of power. So their same number of ships completely outclass my ships. So I need to try to figure out a way to do damage to their actual ships, because their ships are incredibly powerful. If we have a quick look at the destroyers, which are their biggest ships in through here. So these are their destroyer designs. So they're using torpedoes, which actually do break through. They're poor against shields, but they break through armor. So if they can get past the shielding, they're going to have 40% of the damage that's done to armor is going to bleed through into the hull. Once it bleeds through into the hull, it then does damage inside the ship. So once they get through shielding, that's a big problem for me. And they can get through shielding very easily. We'll have a quick look on my ships. If I just go back into my ship designs and go back into my frigates and just go to edit. We're using one Corvidian shield on this. our frigate design. And you'll see down through the actual, in the listing that it's got through there, the shield strength is 288, which is, you know, minimal. The shield resistance here is 1. The shield penetration chance is 15%. It means that essentially for every 6 shots that get fired at this ship, 1 of them will get through. And so when there's, like, it's a 1 in 6 chance essentially of breaking through. And the ratio is the percentage of damage that's going to get through if it does actually break through the shielding. So for every 6 shots that hit us, 1 will get past the shielding and hit the armor. If we then go back and have a look at what they've got again, so their particular design using torpedoes, which have got that, it's poor against the shields, like it's got a 40%, it's 40% weaker against shielding, but 1 in 6 of those shots, and it's got 3 torpedoes which fire, you can see there in the bottom there, shots per volley is 2, which means that there's 6 shots every time that they shoot a volley from each ship, which means that 1 of those shots is more than likely going to go through onto the armor. If it goes through onto the armor, 40% of the total damage, which is, let's just say it's around about 40, 30 or 40 damage going to go through. 40% of that is going to then go through onto the armor itself. But having said that, if there is a bypass, there's even less again, because only 40% of that will also then just go in. So there's actually, it's not going to be that dramatic. It's still going to be about 10 or so. 10 damage going onto the armor, of which there will be a portion of that will then get into the like 40% of that will then go into the hull. So there'll be 4 damaged under the hull, which will then start to disable my components. So it's quite important that we, this is going to be one issue that we're going to have to sort of contend with. The other thing that we've got is their bubble shields have a shield penetration chance of only 2%. So we can't use the same tactics against them. So we can't really gear up. If we gear up with torpedoes, with the negative against shielding, we're going to have a really, really hard time. Their shield strength with each one of their shields is double that of what my shields have got, and they've got 2 of those. So they've got 4 times the shield strength on one of these destroyers than what my frigates have got, which is a problem. And so this is, again, their shielding is really, really powerful. This is actually, this is racial shielding that the Quiminos, only the Quiminos actually have this one. And so that's an issue for us. So what we need to do is we need to be able to, attack these. But you see there's a shield resistance there of 5, and even the heavy armor has got like a reactive rating there of 3. These get subtracted from whatever damage is that's done when they hit either the shield or the armor. And so, and even the hull, I think it's got a reactive rating there of 4. So even when it hits the hull, like 4 damage, it'll stop 4 damage, which is very, very powerful. And so if we have a look again at our, to try to break through this, we need a weapon that can then go and do that one. So if we go back into our ship designs, and we might start to now design the destroyer. So we've got the destroyer back in through here. Let's just go and I can edit it or upgrade it. I might just do an upgrade and then just see what we end up getting. So I'll just, I'll edit it because we haven't built any of these. So we need to evaluate what this ship is going to actually have. So it's got like a fair bit of firepower. And this one here has been automatically designed with concussion missiles, Maxos blasters, point defense back in through there. It's got 1 shield again, so only a small amount of shielding, only 288 shield strength, but it does have 3 hex armors, which is good. This one has been set up as a mini carrier, which is actually why we're seeing the missiles. So the missiles are long range, and if you use long range missiles with a carrier design, they'll keep their distance away from the fight. So this is actually why they've done that. But we want something that's going to be able to take on the enemy. Now, one thing we could potentially do would be to use, we could actually deck out our small craft, because the small hive hangar, I don't want to do this one yet. I want to actually come back eventually and rebuild this one. So I'm going to ditch these. So we're just going to go and right click on both of those. This will then start to sort of, you can see we've got a reactive rating here on the hull of 4. But I'm going to start to reduce the size of everything. We can get up to 600 tons on the actual ship itself. We've only got two 2 areas in through here with our sensors. Now I'm going to keep a short range sensor array, but the countermeasure system I'm going to ditch, and I'm going to go back to my racial. I've got a fair few different things in through here, where we do actually have things like the countermeasures in through there, countermeasures 2, which is pretty much the same as what we sort of see through there. That one provides a bit of stealth rating, which we don't need. A lot of these we've actually stolen from different locations. What we have though is we have swarm targeting, which actually then allows us, this is our Gizarian technology, which allows us to do better targeting. So I'm going to do that on this particular design. So I'm just going to go and grab the swarm targeting and throw that in there. So we have the short range sensor array plus the swarm targeting. 1 shield I'm happy with, 3 armor I'm happy with. All these concussion missiles, I'm just going to ditch all of those. We have 1 large weapon mount. We have 3 medium and 1 small is what we end up having. And when we hover over these, we can sort of see they've all got a field of fire. So for example, when I look at the small there, it's 360 degrees field of fire, which means it can fire all the way around the ship. That's ideal for point defense. The 120 is the one in the middle. It's almost like a spinal mount type weapon in the middle of the actual ship itself. Then we've got the 1 medium at the back, and then we've got 2 other mediums on either side with a 180 degree field of fire. The one at the back has also got 180 degrees. So firing at this with weaponry that's going to be able to only target things is going to be a bit of a problem. So that's going to be something we're going to have to sort of work with. Like this one here, for example, may not have much chance to sort of get involved in the actual fighting. Back through here we have a sensor. That's a short range sensor array. Underneath there we've got that's the shielding, sort of showing on the outside of the ship. On the inside of the ship, and so as we sort of come back through, this is all the weaponry we can now go and place on it. We've got 3 Acceleros engines. Now this is going at sprint speed of 83. By my memory, that's about the speed of my frigates and my escorts, and I want it to stay the same as the others. So I'm just going to go and I'll figure out, this has got now a defect. We do need to have weapons on this particular one. We've got a few empty slots on the inside as well. We do have an ion shield. 2 mega density fuel cells is good. 1 Nova core reactor should be all that we actually require on this particular ship. Everything else is looking good there. So I may not need to put in the other slots. So I'll probably just sort of leave them alone and then just deck out the ship the way that I want it. So we're going to go to weaponry now. Now we need to break through shielding. And so if we have a look at the railguns, like if we go to the, where are they? We've got the heavy railgun there, but there's actually, which has to be, that's 40 tons. But if we have a look at the other railguns, where are they? We're not even seeing them there anymore. Yeah, the heavy has sort of replaced what was there previously. So I am going to use this as my central mount there, because this one does such damage. Like it does 52 damage. It's only 1 shot, but that's going to that's got a chance to smash through shields. Shield bypass of 40%. Armor bypass, it's weak against armor, but the amount of damage that it's going to ultimately do will still bleed through into into their ship essentially and cause issues. So that's going to bring their shielding down very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go and grab the heavy railgun and throw that. It's only 1 mount that can actually take it, because these are 39. So this is a large mount. Bang, in goes the heavy railgun. So we've now got a heavy railgun in that position. We now need to sort of figure out what we're going to then put on these other areas. Definitely want to put a sentinel multi-beam defense in that middle slot. So I'll just go and throw that one on there. So we've now got the 360 degrees for the multi-beam defense. So that's just going to be good against other missiles and things. For the other components on this one, I'll just go up and just double check. I've got heaps of space on this, so I can do a lot with this particular design. I'm sort of tempted to put an ion cannon on this one, but I don't think I will. The ion cannons are if we have a quick look at the ion cannon itself, there's only a small weapon. It's direct fire, which means it has to line up the enemy ships. I think I'm just going to use the. We do actually have a deal breaker as well. What does that one do? I'll just go and have a quick look at this one here. This deal breaker beam. Shield bypass. Actually, that's good. That's got a shield bypass of 30 and 75. Actually, that's even better again. That's a massive beam. If we compare that with the heavy railgun, the deal breaker beam is again a racial weapon. I think it's the Harkonish that get this one. So it does the same damage. The damage rate shows less, but it doesn't matter much, to be honest. It doesn't bombard as well if we go up against other planets, which is fine. Weapon targeting is the same. Actually, we can't really sort of see that's the same stuff in there. We're going to have to go into each one of them. That's that bug again that was listed before. The range is higher. The shield bypass there is not quite as much as the other one, but it actually bypasses armor as well. It's a really, really powerful weapon. Requires a lot of energy per shot, and there's a firing rate of 18 seconds. So that's why the damage rate is so much lower. But I think we might go with a deal breaker in that position. So let's go. It's a bigger weapon. So we've now got 100 size points left over. I think I'm just going to use Thuon beams again, like what we've been doing for the others. So I'll just go and place Thuon beams in all 3 slots. That takes me up to 583. So I still actually have a little bit of space left over. Everything else is fine down the bottom through there. So I don't have enough to do anything like, putting any sort of carrier sort of type thing on the actual ship itself, which means I've got internals that I can go and place, or potentially engines. That's 21. No, we don't have enough space for that. But I could put in a vector engine, like a multi-vector or something like that, just to get maneuverability. So I could actually throw that into it. We're now up to 289, so I've still got 11 left over. And that means I could either put more fuel in or something like that as well. Just checking everything. The one reactor is still going to cover all of this. Our sprint speed has gone way down because of the weight now of the ship. Might get rid of the multi-vector. I can't actually. The acceleration engines are going to then throw my weight off. Sorry, the total amount. We're 4 over. So I'm going to have to ditch one of those engines. I will grab the multi-vector. And we're going to be slower, but that's so be it. That's going to have to just be the way it's going to have to go. Which means we can still put something like we can get like the fuel cells. We've got the mega density fuel cells, which we stole as well. So we've stolen a lot of stuff. Mega densities, where are they? Fuel cell there. It's got fuel capacity of 120. These have got a fuel capacity of what? We don't get to see that. So it's not showing up because we've sort of gone past that in the grand scheme of things. I might just get a normal fuel cell and just throw that into one of the empty slots. I could also have gotten an assault pod, and that just gives me another way of attacking enemy ships. I might just do that actually. So yeah, that's all good. That's right on the limits now with the size that we actually have. Energy is catered for. It's slow moving, unfortunately, but nothing much we can do about that one. Targeting is plus 30%, plus the extra targeting per ship in the fleet goes up again as well. Yeah, I like it. I like this one. So this will be our deal breaker destroyer. So that's sort of ideally made for trying to break through the shielding of the Quamino ships. So I'll save and exit that one. So we now actually have that one. I can go and create even a second destroyer if I'm wanting to sort of get the hangars, but I'll wait until we get the hangars actually designed or acquired before we sort of do anything with those. So we'll just go and have that. We need to keep them now on manual as well, just so we can sort of control those. And what I want to do is actually have like a group of these now added to all of the big fleets. Steal the bubble tech, if we could, that would be good. But I've got to be careful again. Like it's hard for us to break through. If I can grab their ships, I'll be able to get it. But yeah, we're not really close to being able to get it. It would be too dangerous for my spies to try to go. Like, we don't even have the start of it, I don't think. Where is it? Where are they? Shielding. Yeah, we don't even see it at this stage. So I'm going to have to capture their ships to pull them apart. We are seeing other things though, which is good to sort of see them come up. Planetary shields, enhanced shields. Actually, we can now get the Corvidian shields version 2. That's 12 years though to get that. Actually, one thing we were going to have a look at was what's next. So we can get the cruisers. 22 years to get those, which I'm not going to worry about. I might go for the improved frigates, which is just going to improve what I can then do with my frigates. So I might just go and pay the costs on that one, just to have something else coming in behind it. Right, fleets. So rather than just manually add them to fleets, what we're going to then go and do is probably add 3 per big attack fleet. So we've got like a lot of attack fleets. If we go back into our military tab and then have a look at the fleets that we actually have in through there, we can see there that like the smaller defence fleets have only got 9 ships, like 4 escorts, 5 frigates. 4 escorts, 5 frigates in through there. These are also 4 and 5, but this is actually a strike force. Again, I can sort of chop and change those. All the big ones are like with 18 or more. In fact, that one there does need to have a top up. So we're 3 actually building new ships. Oh, actually, it's already got. Why has it got the? Did I already set the destroyers up for this? I think I may have. Actually, I'll just have a quick look and see, because what we've got here is, if we go into the into my fleet templates. Okay, I've redeemed is there a non-drunk general? Yes, there are. We've got a few of them, actually. So in this case, I'm going to go into my attack fleet, which has got 20 ship count. I'm just going to go and edit this. You've only got frigates, escorts, and fuel tankers in through there. We trim. We don't want to trim the excess ships. This is actually where we go and add in. I'm just going to go and add in over the top of this 3 more destroyers. And so the destroyer one that I'm going to be using is, I can either go say deal breaker destroyers. I think I'll be specific and just go that way, because ultimately we may end up with destroyers that are also carriers as well. And I'm just going to go 3 with those. So we end up with 3 destroyers for these particular fleets. So that's going to be just decking out our fleets a little bit more powerfully to be able to then take on the Quamino ships. So 23 ships now per fleet. So I'm just going to go and go to each of my actual fleets and just set them up. So the first fleet now has to get 3 more. So building new types for 38k, which we have the money for. So we'll just go and do that. So there's now 3 of those coming in. That is an admiral. That's okay. The second, do the same in through there. Now it's already got 1 destroyer there with a fleet destroyer. Just going to add those other 2 in there. That's okay. I could send that one, move that one out of there. Leave fleet, and then we'll retire. So we'll just go and get it to retire. Let's go back to the second and just go and add in one of the deal breakers. They're going to be better for us. Third fleet, 3 more destroyers. So we're just adding now all the different groups. That's the invasion fleet. Top up. I don't know what wants destroyers in there. Just go into the 6th. We've run out of money. We've still got the 7th, the 8th. The 8th as well we need to be setting up as well. But I'll just, when I get the money, I'll then start to sort of build the others. But this is just going to start to flesh things out. So we're getting ready for the next invasion, or for the next war, really. This is going to then increase the amount of maintenance we're paying. So we'll just keep on going through and just sort of setting up based on the templates. The templates are such a good way of playing the game. So myself and I were saying, actually you should evacuate all colonists and keep the colony just fine with its original inhabitants. Yeah, I don't worry about the, this is answering an old question there from Seifu, but I tend not to worry about it. So I'm actually running out of time, guys. So I'm going to have to probably call it here, I think. And sort of yeah, we'll, next time we should be back at war again, back over here. I'm thinking now that we're sort of getting things decked out quite nicely. So we're going to be ready, not really ready for them as such, but we're going to be close-ish. So still building those different ships for these, like the 3rd Defence. We'll eventually get these things done. New escort still being completed over there for the group that's out this way. Oh, here we go. Hyperdrive research from supercharged gaseous flow at the Zipporah. Where is that? Someone's already got it. Okay, so there's a research station already there, which is way out over here. But that's actually not too far away. That's controlled from these guys. Assign mission. Yep, so we'll assign that one. Dismiss that. But I will leave it here, guys. So thanks for watching. And, oh, sorry, the general. Let's go and do that one now. So we have... waiting at Athfar 1. This one here. This is our main general. Actually, he is a reckless attacker. He's not great, is he? That one there's better. And that one there is good. Very good, actually. So DasTactic Zadaki. So we'll just rename this one. So that is Falcons. And I will actually put this one back to manual and tell it to go and transfer to the 4th invasion fleet. So we'll get him across there. All right, so he'll sort of end up in that position. All right, guys, I'm going to have to leave it there. So thanks for watching. Sorry, Falcons, I did forget to do that one. So I'll catch you next week if you're here for Distant Worlds. Otherwise, I should be back again tomorrow to play something else. I don't know what that will be just yet. I'll catch you then.